Here's why you should be worried about Bernie Sanders if you're an entrepreneur. Let's talk about it. Hey, I'm Kyle. I talk about money, and if you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button and share this video. Bernie Sanders is running for president, and if it's not him, there's politicians like AOC who follow this type of socialist doctrine. Whatever you might think of these ultra-liberal politicians, there's a growing following in the US and many places in the world, especially among millennials who are in some ways attacking entrepreneurs. With this type of support for collectivist policies, it's important to talk about if you're an entrepreneur who's starting out or a small business owner who's been at it for decades. Whatever the case may be, there are some tensions with Bernie Sanders and the business community. And I'm not talking about big businesses and millionaires and billionaires. I'm talking about the single mom starting a business but has to deal with all this unnecessary regulation and high taxes. Maybe instead of trying to find ways to collect more taxes for government services, it should be the government who shouldn't waste so much money on unnecessary things. There's growing support for a 70% top marginal tax rate. And even though that number has been generalized, it only affects those making a certain amount, which is still pretty high. It has to be a progressive tax, as we've seen with almost every progressive tax bracket. It's not going to be steep. So maybe as a small business owner, you personally receive $150,000, but under the 70% tax rate, you're probably in the 50% tax bracket. Imagine having to work so hard to give half of your money away, and someone who shows up to an office or a cashier job gets taxed less than you for less energy put in. Then there's Senator Ron Wyden, who wants to make capital gains tax due at the end of every year. Sure, his proposal is to offset the growing wealth inequality between the rich and the poor, who derive most of their income from long-term capital gains, but this will destroy small businesses. If this proposal becomes reality, you'd have to recalculate the value of your business every year and then get taxed on the increase of that value every year. Right now, that only happens when you sell the business, and determining the value of a private company as if you're selling it every single year will cost you a lot of money, not even to say the extra forms and more headaches. Let's not forget the increase in minimum wage to $15 or some $20 an hour. And even though there needs to be a reasonable wage increase, such quick increases will throw businesses off. What's the basic logic here? If you increase minimum wage, you increase the expenses. And if the profits go down to the owner, that part shrinks. So to combat that, it's only natural to cut expenses or raise prices. But raising prices might turn off customers. A bowl of frozen yogurt that's originally $5 that is increased to $10 is going to turn people off. They then go to a big yogurt place who can sell for less because they're a giant corporation. So then you try to decrease expenses. The biggest expense is labor, so naturally you hire less people. And if you can't balance any of this, then you're done. And for some reason, it's people who've never struggled with making a business work who agree with the Bernie Sanders of the world. It's not a battle against the rich and the poor, it's a battle against the middle class, the largest supply of entrepreneurs. This type of proposals are meant to stem big businesses, but it will destroy small businesses. Like your online store, your local coffee shop, this boutique clothing store, all run by one or two people who worry not only about their income, but about their business. Most small businesses fail because it's unfairly grouped with bad big business. A salaried job is 10 times, 100 times easier to manage than being an entrepreneur. You work 40 hours a week and you get a salary just to show up. The business owner risks capital, time, and has to deal with all the stress. Why shouldn't she get the majority of the profits? It's not about equality, equity, or wealth. It's about what's fair to entrepreneurs who save their money, open a business, struggle to get it going, deal with marketing, vendors, rent, workers, regulation, and then see half their profits go to taxes as if that money was made easier than someone with a wage job. But most people don't care. They've never started a business and see firsthand how difficult it is. They only hear Bernie Sanders repeat the words millionaires and billionaires as if they didn't spend years and decades at the office while their friends went to the bars after work, or got into debt while they saved. The problem with Bernie Sanders and many who share his reasoning is that they look at the end result and not the sacrifice it took to get there. This might sound mean, but most poor people got that way because of their decisions and their lack of discipline. Most rich people are rich because they worked hard, studied hard, and make sacrifices. Of course, there are poor people who worked hard, studied hard, and made sacrifices, but that's not the majority of them. And some rich people were born rich and had it easy their whole lives. So to answer the question, what's the relationship like between Bernie Sanders and entrepreneurs like you? It's bad. Bernie doesn't get it. I could be wrong, but I don't think he's ever started a small business. If he did, his policies would make more sense. I wouldn't tell you who specifically to vote for. This isn't a political channel, but I want to share this with you. If you care about social issues, marriage equality, gender equality, the environment, safety, and you're also an entrepreneur, there are many great politicians out there. Democrats and Republicans who hold moderate views, who seek a balance between that single mom starting a business for the first time, who happen to also care about the planet. If you fall into that category, there are less flawed people to vote for. A moderate view of everything isn't the worst thing in the world. It's always the radicals who start wars and revolutions. That's something to think about. If you want to take care of your money, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you stay up to date on when new videos come out. Check out my other videos on personal finance, business, and investing. Until next time, I'm Kyle, and thanks for watching.